Hey guys, so this is going to be a tutorial on how to use the Photoshop template that I made in class the other day for our projection mapping project. You'll be using it exclusively in After Effects. You don't have to go to open up Photoshop at all because you don't want to move around any of those layers. But if you do want to open up, you can see how I've laid it out. But we'll be working within After Effects here just for this tutorial. So let's start. What we're going to do is import the template, and I've got it here, map template PSD. And when you import it, you want to make sure that it's in composition. It might say footage, just make sure composition is checked. Editable layers is checked, and that's going to let you bring in all the same layers from the Photoshop project like we've done in the past. There's your folder with all your layers. You don't need that, just keep it there on deck. What you're really interested in is this. This is our composition. If you double click that, you've got all your layers down here like we've done in the past. And the way that I've set it up is that I've made 3 layers for each of these shapes. The first layer is going to be the inside of it. So let's say the triangle, we'll just use the triangle here as an example. This first layer is just this black area inside of the red rim. And I've labeled it triangle inside only. So if I turn that off, you'll see that it says triangle inside and rim. That's this one down here, inside and rim. What that is if I turn off the rim, you can see a little bit of it here. What it is it's both the inside extending out all the way to the end of the rim. So say you wanted to project onto the entire surface of the triangle, you would use triangle inside and rim because it's going to give you the, it's a template, a mask for this entire width from the inside all the way to the outside of that rim area right there. If you want to just use the inside, you can use just the inside only because that only extends right up until the red, but not beyond it. And if you want to animate along the rim, kind of do something like an outline of these shapes, you can use just this one that says triangle rim, and the same thing for the pot, for example, over there. You'll see that turn on and off, and pedestal rim, and so on and so forth, the board rim. So you got all of that, and they're all labeled on screen, so they correspond to the titles down here. Okay, so the thing I was trying to figure out the other day, and I found it's a much easier way to do it. What I did was I opened up this mode column and the track matte column, and you might start without those there. It might look like this. So what you want to do is you come up to here where this is the name of your comp, and you got these 3 little lines. You open up this menu, you got columns, and you got modes. Click that, and you'll see that this mode column and track matte column opens up. And we're not going to be using the modes, we're just going to be using the track matte for each of these. And what this allows us to do is to attach a video that you may animate onto these particular shapes. So let's say you went out and you filmed something, or let's say that you actually did an animation in another composition, and you want to now bring it into this composition and attach it to this triangle. This is how you would do it. You would use the Trackmattes. So let's do that. Let's bring in some footage. And we just the other day had these 2 guys here walking through the corn. So let's attach this footage to the inside and rim of the triangle right here, to this shape. Okay, I'm going to turn off the rim and the inside only, and bring that over here. You can see that it says triangle, inside and rim. And so I'll bring my footage, this is the clip of these guys walking down, and I'm going to put it on a layer underneath the shape that I want to attach it to. Okay, so now you can see that the triangle was there. And I want to attach this to this. I don't want to see it outside of the triangle. I just want to see it within the triangle. What you do is, now watch this, you're going to deal with this layer and this layer. The footage layer, you come over to the track matte and you give it an alpha matte. And there it is. It's attached only to the triangle. And what it does is it adds these little boxes so you know that they're related. It looks like it actually turns off the triangle layer, but they're working in collaboration now. What you can do with this now is with your footage layer highlighted, you can take it, move it around, you can resize it, do anything you want to it, and there it is, right? So you can even open it up down here like you would normally do and rotate it, and it's only going to be seen within that shape right there. So you can do that for any of these shapes here. One thing you might want to do is to say move this around, kind of distort the footage in a sense so that it actually begins to fit the triangle better. Because right now we got this guy's head chopped off, right? So what you can do is with this highlighted, with your effects controls, and you can come over to here in your effects and presets. If this window is not open, you can come over here and under window and check effects and presets. And you look for distort. Okay? And you open that up and look for corner pin. Corner pin is going to allow you, now this is the effects control for this layer. If I open this up, you'll see that there's the corner pin right there. You can control this down here if you'd like, but I like to have it up here. Your upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, that corresponds to each of the corners of that particular layer. So say like this guy's head's chopped off and everything, right? Let me kind of reposition this a little bit. And see what we can do. With my upper right, I can click this, and you can see you get this crosshairs. I can pull, where is it? Upper right. There it is. You can start to play around with it. And give it a little bit of a shape that you may want to like distort a little bit. So then the lower right is going to be here. Let's bring this in. And the upper left here. You know, you might not want, see his head's still going to be chopped off, but the footage that you create for this may be actually more planned out for a triangle. But you still may need to sort of play around with it and see what you can do. So this will allow you to sort of kind of have a little bit more control of how you distort your images and move them around and kind of play with them there. So that can be applied to any one of these particular layers down here, right? Whether it's the inside of something or the rim. Let me show you about what you could do with some of these borders, these rim areas. Let's go up to layer. Down here, let's do this. We'll add a layer, a new solid, and I'm just going to make it white. What this does is it gives you just a layer that's whatever color you want it to be. You can change the color here. You can double click this and kind of come over to red. But let's go with white this time. Gives you this solid right here, and I placed it on top. I'm going to place it on top of, let's see, the board rim. Let's do this. I'm going to attach it only to the red rim of the board. So let's do this. With that, we'll come over to here, give it there, and now you see it's only being seen where the red was before. If I take it and I move it around, you can see that these points show where the actual white frame was. I'm moving them around. So let's just say that I want to have perhaps this white rim kind of draw itself on. Well, just like you were doing before, where you have the keyframes, I'm going to keyframe the movement. Okay, so let's say position here stops there, and then let's say over 23 frames, I'm going to move that so that it extends over all of this down to here. So let's see what that does. There you go. So basically I'm just using a white solid shape to draw on this this border, right? But now watch this. You see that how like all of a sudden it gets to there and it sort of suddenly finishes? Bang! There it is. That's because we're just kind of drawing on this shape that you can see it moving all the way down there. Boom. This is the corner. And that doesn't really do much for me at that point, right? The second half just sort of pops on. Well, how can I get it to do different things, right? So that it actually draws on a little bit more, I don't know, expressively. Well, let's do this. Let's get rid of these marks here, right? I'm going to bring the white solid back down so that we see the whole thing here. And I'm going to mask it now. Watch what I do. I don't think I've shown, maybe I did show you guys some of this. Some of you know it, but if you come up to this tool here, it's the pen tool. And with the layer you want to mask out selected, you can draw points. And within those points, the white solid is only going to show within those points. So let me come back to my marker tool here. And you can actually drag these around if you want. If you hold down the Shift key and then you select them all, then you can actually move them around like this. So watch this. See how I'm just kind of bringing it around? You can see the potential for this, right? Almost like neon light tubes or something happening around the edge. So let's do this. Let's have it start. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to have it start like right there. If you come down here, you notice that since we drew the mask around this white solid, you've got this mask area right here. You can open that up. And you can keyframe the movement of that mask. The movement, the placement of it is called a mask path. And basically, if you give it a keyframe here, and then let's say over, trying to drag it up, maybe over 20 frames, I want it to sort of come down to over here. I'm going to drag it down to here. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. And then maybe perhaps until like right there, which is almost another 20 frames apart. I'm going to bring this over to here. Do the same thing over here. Yep. And then bring this over to here. Alright, let's see what this does. There you go. That's pretty wild, right? So you can do all kinds of different things with it. If you want to have, like, say, a couple of those happening, perhaps you have one starting like this and it's moving down, but you want to also have one moving this way at the same time. Well, you can do that. You can basically come over here and click these two, copy, I'm just using Command C and Command V, and paste, and you'll have two of them. Let's open up the second one. And you'll notice that sometimes when things get copied and pasted, they reverse themselves. So let's do this, put that there. And let's open up this second one. See the mask on that. And let's change it, right? So let's see. That was down there, over to here, here. I'm going to reverse these two keyframes. See what I just did? I didn't have to rebuild the entire thing. I just copied and pasted the original layer, this one here, and then reversed these two. This was originally the keyframe where it hit down here, and this was originally the keyframe where it hit up here. I just clicked and dragged them across. You saw, I'll put them back. So that's pretty much the way it was. Love the fact that you can take keyframes and they're this malleable, right? So you can take it, reverse it. Now this happens. So let's see what that looks like. Right? Kind of funny. It almost looks like it reverses itself. So you can play around with that kind of stuff. Let me see, what else can I show you that you might run into? Oh, sound. Obviously, that's an important one. So, because that is part of the assignment, let's import some sound. Let me find music. Let's bring in this. Alright. So, as a sound file, you can just click and drag it down somewhere. And there it is. You can see that it's sound because it's got this audio speaker. I'm going to bring it down so that it's below everything. So it's sort of out of the way. And then open it up. There's your waveform. And you can see that the waveform on this song starts over here. I'm going to bring it back so it starts pretty much right at the beginning. And if you hold down your Command key, if you're using an Apple, Mac, hold down the Command key. You can hear it, all right? And you can know where your points are, where you want to add an animation or a clip. So let's see what that sounds like here. Anyway, so that's what that is. So I got lucky, and it actually hit. These points actually came back to the beginning, right at that point in the music. The boom, that area, boom, boom. So you got that. Let's just say that, let's continue this a little bit more, and what I've got for the board, the inside only. Let's just put, because that's the footage that I have right here, right now. These guys walking, and I'm going to attach that to this clip right above it, board inside only, and there they are. And so that we can see what it'll look like with the rim light going around it. Let's see where we got this. Here, I'm going to kind of bring it down a little bit. Distorting it slightly. And let's do it. Very important conversation they seem to be having out here in the corn. that was funny the way the music just did that. That was because it was rendering it, and it sounded like a broken record. Anyway, so there you go. It's a quick tutorial on how you can use this stuff to attach layers to layers using the track mat, how you can use your pen tool to create a mask and to write things on. You can do that same thing with the pen tool on actual footage, not necessarily just these Photoshop shapes that are in here, and of course music. So the last thing I think I do need to show you guys is rendering it out. So add to render queue. Best settings, I should be all set for you guys. You come in here to lossless. This is the important part. Format options. Make sure that you choose H.264. Okay. And quality should be at 100. And you'll see that down here, you don't need to resize, but you can see that the original file that I've created is at 1920 by 1200. It's different than what we would normally use for video. The reason I did that is because it fits how this particular screen is going to project onto that wall. So hopefully that doesn't cause anybody some problems. But you don't want to change the size. 1920 by 1200. Click OK. Tell it to where you want it to go, and let's just call that tutorial. Tell it to render, and there it goes. We come to our folder here, project map, tutorial, there it is. And that's about it. If you have any questions, email me. I will be available. I know it's kind of a short turnaround on this, but the biggest thing is to sort of just see how you guys can find ways of interacting with this footage and the shapes in the space. It's about trying to get the digital arts to jump off of the screen and into the actual room for us. Okay? I'll be around. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Good luck. Bye-bye.